How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're getting back to work on the Frankenstein Civic, getting some engine bay work done again. So let's roll that intro, get into it. So last time we got some seam seal laid in here, and we also got some fiberglass done on this side. Plan was over the week I was gonna go in small batches bit by bit and get this side finished. Well, I just kind of went hard last night and spent the whole evening getting this side finished too. So in 2 days I got both sides done. So we are ready to start sanding on here. I'm stoked to get this done. This actually turned out pretty good now that I can actually lay my hand over it. I can feel there's a few lumps and high spots in it, so we're really gonna see how flat I actually got this when we start blocking it out. It's gonna be very obvious very quick where we need to do some work still, but we're not gonna know until we get started. So I'm gonna grab a sanding block, get some 80 grit sandpaper, and let's just go at it. Now, working with fiberglass is nasty stuff, so I'm gonna be wearing my respirator for this. Don't wanna be breathing in any of this stuff, so try and protect myself the best I can, and let's get to it. All right, guys, so here's where we're at. So after a lot of grinding and block sanding, it became very clear to me that this is not as flat as I thought it was. So under normal circumstances, I would never recommend laying body filler this thick, but I want to get this all leveled out. I'm going to block sand it again. And once it's level, I'm gonna go over it again with fiberglass. So it's all gonna get covered and it's gonna be sealed in there. So I will end up knocking it down quite a bit yet, but I just wanted to make sure that there was enough on there that I could get it level. And this was a good excuse to use my crappy body filler. So as you can see, like I mentioned in one of my previous videos, how porous this stuff was. It does not go on very smooth, no matter how hard you try. There's always pinholes in it, and it just always looks lumpy. So that's what I figured this was a perfect time to use it. Anyway, I'm gonna get to block sanding this. I'm sure I got a lot of hours ahead of me yet. All right, guys, so been doing some block sanding in here, made a huge mess of dust, and I gotta say I'm getting pretty tired of the mess that it makes. I've been doing a lot of sanding over the winter and keeping the door closed to keep the heat in, but everything in here is filthy. Like, I've blown off this car almost every day and it's just got a thick layer of dust on it. The engine hoist over here, I don't think I've blown off at all, is just, yeah, that is caked on there. So I'm gonna have a lot of cleanup to do in spring when I can open the doors again. But for now, I'm gonna steal an idea from my buddy Dwayne over at Lekkeman Fabworks. If you haven't subscribed to his channel yet, make sure you do so. He's super into DIY stuff and he does a lot of drag racing and things like that. And he's super fun to watch, so I'd highly recommend it. Go check him out. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description below. So in his last video, he made a DIY air purifier, basically using a box fan and a furnace filter. So that kind of inspired me to do the same thing. So found a cheap fan here. I actually scoured all the thrift stores in my local area. Could not find anything cheap or used, so I ended up having to splurge and bought this brand new one. It cost me about 38 bucks, and then I bought the cheapest furnace filters I could find. Came in a 3-pack, and these things were like 8 bucks, but I honestly don't know if this is even gonna do anything, because if you look from behind here, you can see right through that. So I don't know if this is even gonna catch any of the fine dust that comes from sanding body fill, but I'm gonna try it out. If I have to double up or even triple up the filters, I will. See if that does anything, or I just have to splurge and buy the good quality filters. But for now, I'm gonna give this a try. So I'm gonna plug this thing in, get it going, and then I'm gonna continue block sanding. I got a bit more to do, and then we should be ready for fiberglass again.
One eternity later.
All right, guys, so here is where we're at. Did a bunch more block sanding on this side, and I got it looking pretty good now. It's still not perfect, but I think we're about ready to lay fiberglass on this side. Everything's nice and flat. I did cut myself some custom sanding blocks that would fit in here nicely, so they had some angles to them. So this one ended up working very well because it had the right angle in it, so that when I was sanding in here, I could hold it at just the right angle and get this all nice and flat. So if you look in there, you can see we're all flat all the way down now. And then same goes this way for this curved piece. We're flat all the way along. So I'm pretty happy with the results there. So in all the block sanding I did, I had the air purifier running the whole time. And I realized pretty quickly that these filters do not catch dust at all. I mean, if you have a look at this, I mean, it's kind of like throwing a hot dog down a hallway. So I ran into the house because you could literally see dust blowing through it. So I went and got a furnace filter from inside the house. This was an old one that we used, but it was still good enough to use out here. So it was actually catching most of the dust, but the airflow was really low, so it wasn't sucking through as much as it should. So it did do some. I brought it outside and then I blew it out, and you could see that it obviously caught some dust, but I still ended up with a big dust pile on the floor. Still gonna end up with a big mess in spring. But anyway, let's get back to it. So moving on to this side now, I've already put one pretty thick layer on here.
Extra thick!
And now we're doing more of the detail filling. So this curve here and down here, I kind of wanted to fill in a bit more just to give it more of a gradual curve. So same as in here. So more of this is just going to be the detailed shaping, as we've done most of the filling now. This side I don't think is going to take as long as that side did, because there's a lot more different shapes and angles in there. This side I think is going to be pretty straightforward. So I'm just going to get to blocking this out now. I'm not going to show too much of it because you've seen it all already. So I'm going to blast through this and then we'll get to fiberglass. All right, guys, block sanding is pretty much done. So like I said, guys, this is going to be just a rough sanding. Sorry, Derek, I'm going to pause you for a bit. So the major filling and shaping part is done. So now what I'm going to do is cut out some fiberglass. So basically what I did last time is I cut off strips and shapes to kind of fill in all the low spots. And that left it kind of lumpy, which is why I ended up having to fill it. So now that I have everything pretty much level for the most part, again, it's not perfect, but this is the basic shape and everything is flat. So now I'm going to cut out fiberglass. So I'd like to try and keep it as one continuous piece all the way down. And that way it's gonna kind of keep its shape really nice, and it's not gonna overlap or get lumpy or anything like that. So I'd like to do 2 layers just so I can get some strength on it. And then that's gonna seal all this filler in, and it's gonna be a lot less likely to crack. And then hopefully it lasts a long time. So I'm just gonna get going on this, get the fiberglass cut out, get it installed, and then I'll catch up with you guys when I'm done. All right, guys, well, fiberglass round 2 is done. So it should be a lot flatter this time. Last time I thought I got it pretty flat, but obviously not. It was pretty lumpy. So that's why we had to add some filler, block sand it out, get it nice and flat. Now we got another layer of fiberglass on there. Should be a lot better this time. So plan now is to block sand it again. I should be able to get away with using minimal body filler on it now, and then it will be basically ready for primer. So after the block sanding and body filler is done here, I'm gonna go over the entire engine bay one last time just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Do all the detail stuff, use some spot putty where I need to, and then it's basically gonna be ready for primer. So I think I'm gonna end the video here, guys. So next time I'm gonna be block sanding, body filling, block sanding some more, getting it nice and smooth. We'll get all the detail stuff done, and then if all goes well, we're gonna shoot some primers. So looking forward to that. We're making huge progress here. So if you like the video, guys, definitely give it a thumbs up. Drop me a comment below. Let me know how you feel about the build so far, or if you have any suggestions for me. Like I said, guys, I am not a bodywork expert, but this is something that I think is gonna work. It seems to be going pretty good, and I really think it's gonna last a long time. So I'm looking forward to getting this thing done. It's gonna look so good. And if you haven't subscribed yet, guys, definitely consider doing so. We got a lot of content coming on this car. Race season is coming eventually, so we will be hitting the track this year, and we have a lot of action going on there. So if that kind of stuff interests you, definitely consider subscribing, and we'll see you guys in the next one.